is going on? I want to thank you for coming by to Vape with the Viking. So today what I got for you is a possibly fairly large RTA or RDTA, and it is the Steamcrave Aromamizer, and it's the Plus RDTA. Now, what they mean in an RDTA is I'll show you down in the build. I didn't do a real, probably great explanation of it down in the build, so I will do that now versus saying, look at the build. The reason why they're calling it an RDTA is because when you put the wicks down in there, it actually, instead of a traditional RTA, it literally, you have to poke cotton down past the build deck, which kind of just sits on a plate that has a literally locking and unlocking juice flow control. Some people would still say it's still an RTA, but because it's kind of drawn up through the wicks that are in a technically separate chamber, that's what you consider an RDTA. But either way, a pretty versatile little thing. You can actually take all the glass out and make it into just a full-on RDA. Then you have 5 mils, 10 mils, 20 mils, all that kind of good stuff. They are purchased separately. You get the 5 mil in the box, but they had such a good deal going on. I got that plus all the different conversions, and it was a relatively inexpensive. So, but before we get into the real technical ins and outs, we're going to go over Viking's Advocacy Minute. You know, that happens every single time. Not a whole lot of, everybody's jamming stuff down everybody's throats for good reason. It's not a bad thing whatsoever, but if you watch reviews at all, whether it's mine or a couple others or mine and 50 others, you're going to hear it probably at least 45 times. So, all I can tell you is just keep the heat on, keep it going. There are some things that are starting to subside in our government and legislation and all that kind of stuff, but even though that they are slighted doesn't mean that we can, because the moment we do, you're going to have those people that aren't just kind of letting it rest come back and bite us in the ass. Plus, we do have states out there that are still under flavor bans. We got to get everybody free to vape again. So please do your part. Get involved as much as you can, either by calling the White House numbers like the Rising Vapers. We broadcast that every Friday, or even if it's just writing your local legislation, just in case they do come into your back door, they'll already have that information beforehand. Please, please, please do your part. Let us all vape whatever the hell flavors we want to vape. Fruity bubblegum, fruity cereal, chocolate macaroon, cookies, crumble. I don't care, whatever you like vaping on. So, but today what actually I have in this run on the iJoy Diamond, because it's one of those mods that will fit something 30 millimeter, is some Vape Asylum. We got some of that Psycho Surgeon in there, which is crisp apple, marzipan, and coconut. I'm ready. Are you ready? Yeah, we're ready. Let's drop the hammer on the aromatizer.
Alright, so what I got for you today, it's kind of a little older device, but hey, new to me, right? Maybe new to you. It's from Steamcrave. It is the Aromamizer Plus RDTA. So, got their normal packaging. We got the little window here. Shows a little bit of airflow here. And then Steamcrave's website. Your color configuration. More Steamcrave. I believe that's just their item number. Then on the back, you're just going to have some kind of bullet points here, basically just telling you some of the talking points there. And then you have UPC and your scratch authenticity right there. So we'll just open this up, just like other Steamcrave products, just a little magnetic enclosure. And then you will have the device here. You'll have your spare glass, your tri tool, your humongous vape ban. You also have your 810 to 510 adapter here, and then a whole bunch of spares, O-rings, deck screws, all that good stuff. And you'll also have all this stuff at the bottom, the literature and stuff. I do like that big old tank band there. It's awesome. Alright, and the reason why they call this an RDTA, I will show you, because when I did purchase this, I also purchased the 5 mil kit. And I also purchased the 20 mil kit. So as standard, this is a 10 mil, and I'll show you why here in just a second, why they call it RDTA. So up top, you're going to have your A10 drip tip, and it is the O-ringless style, so you can put any of your A10s in there. This one actually tends to work really well. It's a almost perfect height and width, so I'd suggest keep that on there if you want to, if you can. Then you got that nice Steamcrave knurling on the top here, and that is going to be a full twist on, twist off to get to the top, where you'll have your huge kidney-shaped juice channels there. And then, of course, on the side here, you'll have Aromatizer Plus. And we'll just keep disassembling this as we go. And then on the chimney section, you'll see you have Steamcrave there. And again, some more knurling. And the reason why there's knurling all over this guy too is because it is removable. And then you'll have your glass. And then near your deck here, you have your airflow, just kind of like just done doing the Aromatizer Light not too long ago. Same kind of airflow configuration. You got that big kind of honeycomb oval that you can also cut down to with this slot here. Cut them down. The only difference, of course, it doesn't have the small mouth to lung airflow holes. So you do have juice flow control here. That's locked, and then you turn the bottom here, and that's open. And then designed by BJ, your serial number. You do have a slightly protruding 510 pin there. And just like the other aromatizers, you just pull this thing off the bottom, unscrew it off the bottom. And then here you'll be able to see the juice flow control. Here how it's locked. See how it looks just kind of two little tabs there. But when you turn it to open, that's what it does. You can actually see it's exposing those juice channels, basically. They're right through there, and they come down there in the bottom of the deck here. And just like the other aromatizers, you do have the removable build deck. And if you see, there's a notch here and a notch here. And then on the device itself, or the deck itself, you kind of have a notch here and a notch there. So that's how it would line back up in there. And if you don't get it in there perfectly, it'll sink down in there and you'll think you'll be fine. But then when you screw that bottom back on, you'll have a little bit of a gap. So all you do is just kind of sit there and wiggle it around until you know that it got sunk in there like that. Well, I'm a little off still. There we go. Now it's sunk down in there. Right, so put it on the mod here. A little iJoy diamond, a little gunmetal on gunmetal. Show you that it will do a 30 millimeter device. Okay, so we're going to put some K coils, some aliens in there. I've already pre-clipped them at 5 millimeter, and that should suffice in there. We're going to throw some liquid from Darkstar, some Mango Enchained, and of course, you know, Holy Fiber. So let's get this going.
All right, we are back up with the Aromatizer Plus. So, some specs. Of course, we know it's a 30 millimeter RDTA. You have the options of 5 mil, 10 mil, and 20 mil. The different size options are available to purchase separately through Steamcrave and possibly other outlets. It is kind of a little bit of an older device, so finding it, you're going to find it probably fairly inexpensive anywhere. I literally found it anywhere from like $20 up to 60. Steamcrave still sells them on their website alone, which they actually have some pretty decently fast shipping. Off the top of my head, I paid, I think, 35, but that was for the tank plus all the conversion kits they had on sale. I know that they normally came in a black, a stainless, and a gunmetal. And I think they had a couple other special edition colors that are even harder to find. Like there was a red one and a blue one. But I do sometimes tend to confuse the plus with the Supreme. So I might be wrong on those color choices. Last time I checked, which was a while ago, Steamcrave did have these available. But another couple little things, if you've seen my Aromatizer Light RTA, it pretty much is a bigger version, or I should say the Light was a smaller version of this. You still have that same screen type of airflow, which Steamcrave has said it's there to reduce spitback, which I, I don't. I rarely get spit back. If I do, it's first couple draws because I'm pulling out really hard to make sure the wicking took hold and all that kind of good stuff. So, but yeah, I definitely dig it. Is it the best RTA or RDTA ever? No, but it's also because it's older. Back then, it was probably one of the most amazing devices or RTAs or DTAs you could find. But now we're spoiled with, the bulk was a really good RTA. I keep hearing that the Intake Dual is an amazing RTA. I've yet to try that one, but I use the Blotto every single day. It's an amazing RTA. So comparatively to the two, because that's what somebody will ask, for the price and the versatility, I definitely like this one. I like that you can make it into an RDA or you can make it into a big old 20 mil bottle juice holder RDTA. And the flavor is actually pretty good, pretty easy to build on too. It's pretty simple. So yeah, it's got a lot of pros. The only cons is when you're actually comparing it to a more up to date RTA, the flavor is not where those guys are. But again, older device, it's going to happen. Design changes, new innovations, they're going to make things better. But overall, like if I hadn't tried the Blotto or even the bulk, because the bulk still produces a little bit better flavor than this, when it comes into a bigger size tanked device, this is up there. So now that, of course, I haven't tried any of the glass version, bigger RTAs, or even like the Voltrope line or anything like that. So I could be way off. I'm talking about what I have tried. So, but for me, it is definitely something that I do use pretty frequently. It's not an everyday thing like the Blotto, but it is still pretty frequent. So cons, the only cons that I had was literally just kind of the flavor production. But again, it's a dated thing, so I can't really hold that against it. Probably for what it was back in the day, it was a pro on flavor. Um, some people might not like the size, but if you're looking for that, it's going to be 30 millimeters. But the drip tip is actually very comfortable. I use this actually drip tip on a couple other atomizers too, just because I like the feel of it. Finish is good. The quality of the threading and everything is just still, even to today's comparison, still really good. Steamcrave does some really good stuff with their machining. Finish, I mean, gunmetal, it looks beautiful. The glass, I've actually dropped the 5 mil glass a couple times by accident. Nothing, no chip, no scratch, nothing. So quality glass. Yeah, not a whole bunch of gaudy stuff on it. Some people don't like a lot of branding. It does have that right across the top, but I mean, it's just telling you what it is. maybe the juice flow control or the RDTA portion of it would still be a con on no matter what date it was made. Is you do have to, in a dive down, I had that thing wicked a little too light to get down through those holes to get it from stop leaking essentially, or it was leaking when I did it. I built it a couple more times, figured out the wicking. The wicking takes a couple tries, 2-3 tries. After that, you're pretty much going to nail it every single time. You'll probably do what I did to begin with. I'm going to wick it too light and it leaks, and then you wick it a little too heavy, and then it just kind of mutes the flavor. And then usually that third or fourth build, you nail it, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, I just made that a whole lot harder than what it needed to be. So not that hard at all. Just wick it like you would any, well, even like the blotto, and it usually works pretty well. Want to thin it out a little bit and make sure that goes pretty much two to maybe a little poking out of those holes on the base deck there. And that's it. Really not a lot to it. We are running what is that, a 0.17 build, 80 watts. Show you some vapor production. Yeah, and it just keeps up and keeps up and keeps up. So it does really good when you figure out the wicking. Flavor wise, I taste the apple, taste a little bit of the marzipan, and really none of the coconut. Now on another device, I do taste all those flavors. So that's why I say it's not the best right now in flavor. But again, age. So that is all I got for the Aromatizer plus RDTA. I want to thank Steamcrave for having such a killer deal when I found this, and super fast shipping too. So if you don't like ordering straight from a manufacturer, don't worry about Steamcrave. Steamcrave, it was fast. It was like I think 4 days or 3 days. It was insanely fast. So, and of course, again, thanks to Darkstar and Team Asylum. If you haven't tried our line, definitely go try it. 5 different flavors. I blew through lobotomy. If you want a lemon sherbet, that's what you need to get. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. I want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming by to Vape with a Viking. And I'll check you later.